guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
UFC Baku, Azerbaijan. I do believe it is the first time they are in that region, in that country. Should be entertaining. I saw the stadium they're fighting at. It looks pretty cool. So interesting to see how it goes. Remember, early start time, guys. Early start time on Eastern side. So look out for that. No late night card here. We got Hill versus Roundtree. Fun main event. We'll talk about that. Co-main event, also fun. Fiziev versus Bahamondes. Banger of a fight. So looking forward to both these fights. Some other decent fights on the card, but it is top heavy. I'll break down the main card like always, provide free picks, leans, price talk, value, and more. Systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping to support me, receive my personal plays. Currently handicapping the UFC, of course, all year round, PGA all year round, and the NFL around the quarter. Future market studying will begin soon. Top 3 sports will be going all at once. Best time to get on board. If you're still watching on YouTube, please like the video, guys. That's helped me out a ton. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, where most of my listeners are these days, please review, share. It does go a long way. It does take, a minute or so. I know a lot of people won't do it still, but hey, got to try to push it. Let's do a UFC Atlanta recap. Let's do the recap. And Usman shows up after almost 2 years off, bad knees and all. Still got it, right? Still one of the best. I don't, me personally, if you listen to my podcast for a while or my breakdown videos on YouTube, I like to stay away from long layoffs, older guys, right? Usman just went back to his old self, wrestle. Not the most exciting, but hey, he was able to dominate Buckley in the wrestling department and hold them down there, right? I didn't expect Bucky to be that bad with his takedown defense. He probably never was tested versus a very good wrestler. Obviously, Kobe tried. He wasn't able to. I think he did get injured in that fight. But obviously, Buckley was the better striker. It showed in the 5th round. I think Buckley probably won the 5th round, to be honest. But Usman just did dominate his old self with the wrestling. Proved that there was value at plus 200. I always did think there was some value. I just couldn't get to it. I did lean Buckley's way. I thought there was some value. Not at the price, of course, at minus 250. The decision prop was like plus 230 or something. So I did believe the fight will go the distance. That probably probably should have bet it. I didn't bet it personally, but, over the rounds, fight goes the distance was a good look. Which I mentioned on the podcast, but I was leaning the Buckley way due to the unknowns with Usman still, right? The time off and all that, but he was able to wrestle his way to victory. So hats off for him. He has to fight Bilal Muhammad next. I would love that fight. He won't be able to do that wrestling like he did to Buckley against Muhammad. So how would it go for him, right? Maybe not the best, probably not the best matchup for Usman versus Bilal Muhammad, but that fight needs to happen after all the issues they had. Nice Rose win. We were on Rose. We were on Rose by decision. Only way she probably wins that fight unless something crazy happens, right? Hail Mary kick or punch or a cut stoppage, right? So Rose was the play. I did back her personally. Gave it on the podcast. Also was a client play. Maverick just didn't have the wrestling to beat Rose. I mentioned it last week. She's not a good enough wrestler to beat Rose. We know Rose could be taken down. It's just, can you take her down and keep her there? And the answer is no, right? So obviously Rose was going to be the better striker on the feet. And Rose even took her down. Rose took down Maverick. Rose has some wrestling too. We got to remember, guys. She's not a fish out of water down there. So she was able to win a mixed martial art fight on the feet and on the ground. She looked good. Maverick was an up-and-coming fighter. I don't think Maverick ever will be in that top echelon of the division. I think she's just a mid-tier girl. Not an easy fight, but, higher-level girls could beat her. Rose made it look fairly easy, guys, right? 30-27 on some scorecard. So, nice win for Rose. Always love seeing Rose in there. Interesting to see what will be next for her. No profit last week, 69% run all cards. 14-4 UFC pay-per-view card will be on the line next week. Average line, guys, plus money. Keep that in mind. Average line is plus money. Let's get right into this card. Shop around, like I always say, shop around. Look for the best price out there. Look for the best price out there. You can use Bet Fight Odds. Best Fight Odds, that's a good one. Or you just, if you have multiple sportsbooks, you can just look at them there. You can also look at different websites. What's the one that I use? Odds Checker. We'll have there. Vegas Insider as well. Lots of options to look for the best market. I always suggest have multiple sports books. Hill plus 100, Roundtree minus 125. Money's been coming on Hill, guys. This opened up around plus 120, plus 118, plus 115. And now I see plus 100 out there. I see a minus 104 on Hill, on FanDuel, actually. Stay away from that if you do like Hill. And I do believe it's rightfully so. The money still on Hill plus 100. If I can get it even a little better, I'll shop around definitely. Hill's going to have to be a look here for me if I were to bet it. For podcast purpose, I always give out a play or a lean. It will be leaning towards Hill. A couple reasons, right? I actually like that he lost back-to-back fights, back up against the wall here, right? Back up against the wall. And those are against top echelons of the division. Prochazka, Pereira. Right? So no concern there. The only concern is, which I will mention here probably multiple times, the chin on Hill. Is the chin compromised, right? Roundtree has the power to knock out Hill. And that's the only way I believe he could win this fight. I don't believe if this goes 5 rounds, Roundtree wins this fight. I think Hill has more pass to win this fight. I think he can knock him out. I think he can win a decision. Roundtree's just very low volume, right? Under 4. You got Hill at up in close to 7, right? Significant strikes per minute. So Hill will have the volume. I don't know if he'll mix any wrestling. I doubt it. Both guys don't wrestle. They're at 0 takedowns. But it'd be interesting, right, to see if Hill tries to do that. But I believe this fight's going to be on the feet for the most part. Let's be honest. If you guys don't like grappling or wrestling, this probably is the fight for you. It should stay on the feet for as long as possible. Right, prior to those losses for Hill fighting the best of the best, he was obviously on the roll. He won the belt over Teixeira, older Teixeira, you got to mention. He beat Johnny Walker, good win there. Thiago Santos. So he was able to beat the mid-level guys, right? Mid-tier guys. And when he stepped up to the top competition, he struggled. Roundtree, similar, right? Beating guys in close fights, though. Like he beat Robertson, Jacoby. Some people saw Jacoby won that fight. Anthony Smith towards the end of his career. Mid-tier guys as well, right? You could say, obviously, Hill has the better resume because he has the belt and he beat Teixeira, right? Even Johnny Walker, I would have better than those guys. So it's interesting to see from a resume standpoint. I do favor Hill. He's fought the better guys. Like I said, he won that belt. So, yes, you have to go Hill in that department. I go Hill on the volume as well. Wrestling was canceled out because both these guys have no numbers to look at, right? But I do like the back up against the wall for Hill. Lose 3 fights, it's not good. Lose 3 fights in a row. The stats here, it's just the Roundtree cardio is a bit concerning. If this fight goes into the 4th, 5th round, I have to favor Hill. Roundtree does slow down, and then the volume is just not something you love to see. Just 3.7 to be exact, significant strikes from Roundtree. But like I said, he does have that path to victory with the knockout, right? Hill's chin has been a question mark now. Back-to-back knockouts. He was knocked down twice in the Prochazka fight. So there is issues. There is issues with Hill, right? And that's why I believe, you're seeing this plus money is a recent bias success. But look who he is fighting, Prochazka and Pereira. Top 2 guys in this division, in my opinion. So interesting to see how this fight goes. I'm not running to the window on either side. I just think if I were to bet it, I'm going to lean Hill due to the pricing and then the volume concerns. And I do believe Roundtree's only path is to win one way, and it's by KO. Obviously live to KO him. If he wins a decision, I'd be a bit surprised. It means Hill was like scared to pull the trigger, right? That's what it kind of would be here. So yeah, leaning Hill on this fight. Tough to say it goes all 5. I don't believe it goes all 5. But you never know. We've seen crazier things before, guys. Interesting fight. I'm looking forward to it. Co-main, this one should be a banger. Fiziev plus 100 versus Baumanda is minus 125. This should be a fun one, guys. Can't wait for this one. Fiziev will be fighting close for home. I think I read that he's fighting out of Azerbaijan now. I don't know. He's not from there, though. So he'll, either way, you could say this is a home fight for him. He'll have a lot of fans there. Baumanda has to travel. So there's a concern there. You don't know how he's going to handle that travel, different country, etc. That's always something you got to worth mentioning and put into your handicap. Lower down your handicap, right? Not something you want to stress too much about. Fiziev's coming off 3 straight losses, guys. Another situation where a fighter's back up is against the wall. Needs a win here, guys. 2 of those losses were against Justin Gaethje. We know that. The other one was against Gamrot. Bonamandez, opposite run, right? Looking great. I love him. I love been backing him. Backed him against Turner. 3-fight win streak, and he got his first legitimate win over Turner last time out. Turner retired after that fight. So this is going to be the biggest fight for Bonamandez, toughest fight for Bonamandez. How will he pass it, right? We saw him lose that one fight against Ludovic Klein. Remember that fight? So he's not untouchable. I do believe the matchup for Fiziev is not the best due to the size advantage, right? That's the one thing I'm a little concerned. 6'3" to 5'8" and a 4-inch reach. Reach is not too much of a concern, but the height difference. It's going to be the tallest, biggest guy Fiziev has fought. It's difficult to say how he handles that. He may have to fight a little differently than he normally does to get in there, get to the head, right? That is something concerning. That's something why, I couldn't go all in on this fight. And yes, I do believe this fight is a flip of a coin. Very tough. I don't see this fight going down to the ground. Fiziev could mix in some wrestling. You could say he does have a wrestling advantage here. He just doesn't use it a lot. Right, but what I like about Bonamanda is the much higher volume. 7 significant strikes landed per minute. You're going to have a big volume advantage. He's going to have the size advantage. Just doesn't have that big fight experience. He's fighting on the road. The price isn't terrible. I'm okay with him being a slight favorite here. But yes, a Fiziev plus money, definitely intriguing. But, where's his head at? 3 losses in a row. The fighting at home could be an advantage for him. He's going to have a lot of fans in there, guys. But also you can look at it, the pressure's on him. Right? So, yeah, I'm not going to get too involved in this fight, to be honest. My favorite play probably would be the over 2.5 rounds. Both guys have shown to be very durable. So over 2.5 rounds will be a look for me. It may make my client card in some aspect. I believe you're kind of flipping coins if you're betting a side here. I'll be personally staying away, but the over, and maybe even fight goes the distance, could make my client card this week. Blades, minus 250 versus Kanaev, plus 200. I have to really look more at Kanaev here. Blades, we all know, great wrestler. He can prove striking. Has improved his strike. Kanaev make his UFC debut here. Won in the Contender Series. He is from this side of the region. He's from Dagestan, but not that type of fighter at all. Not a big-time wrestler. Blades will have the wrestling advantage, of course. He has fought in the PFL as well. So UFC debut, don't love UFC debuts, right? That's why I have to lean Blades here. Kanaev could catch Blades. I have seen Kanaev have some power on the feet. We have seen Blades knocked out multiple times. This is a heavyweight fight. I just haven't seen enough from Kanaev where I can bet him at this price. If you guys are going to take a shot, it's a heavyweight fight, sure. Go for it. These guys coming from PFL, coming over from Bellator, not having a ton of success. Blades has been in travel spots before. He's fought all around the world. I don't think that's going to be an issue here for him. So yeah, Blades is the price, minus 250. Tough to bet. Maybe throw in a 2-fight parlay and get plus money if you find another piece to go with it. But yeah, I'm going to lean Blades here. Not in love with it. Again, middle tier heavyweights. You can maybe have Blades more to the higher top tier. Kanaev has improved enough to show me. Maybe he breaks out. Maybe he gets a big win here. But I'll be staying away from this fight personally. Oralball, minus 160 versus Musaev, plus 130. I'd do some more digging in on these fights. Musaev is coming from Bellator, and he had a lot of success in Risen. 1-1 in Bellator. These guys coming over from Bellator. It hasn't been pretty. Guys, right? Pitbull lost, Patchy Mix lost. These are their best two guys. This guy's not close to one of their best guys. So how's he going to do? He obviously has a shot here. He does have a lot of fighting experience, ton of fights, well over 30 fights here. Orwell 2-1 in the UFC. He's coming off that loss to Rebecca last time out. Made some dumb decisions in that fight, I believe. But Orwell, younger fighter here. We got Mosavieva has shown, has some KO power. Has fought for a while, like I mentioned. Older though, 35. But this is a big spot for him. Big spot for him. Difficult to really say how he's going to come out. I don't have a ton of intel on him. I watched one of his fights. One of his fights in Risen had some power, knocked out the guy. But it's a fight I'll be staying away from. He is fighting at home. That is something worth mentioning as well. Should have crowd there. But again, you don't know how they're going to really fight in front of their home crowd. Right? It could be pressure. Could be a lot of obligations during the week. It's not always an advantage when you're fighting at home. It's not always an advantage. For some, it is. Right? You don't want to lose in front of your friends. You're going to have that extra grind and grit. Sometimes it's difficult, right? If it does go decision, they may lean his way. We don't know the judges out there. We don't know the refs out there, right? So keep that in mind when you're betting these fights. Some of these are tough to back and get to just due to the guys fighting at home, the judges, right? This is not a fight I'll be betting on personally. Lots of unknowns here, just mid-tier fights. Even the books don't really know what to do with it here. They're favoring the guy that has the UFC fights, right? And I get it here. I'll lean his way for podcast purposes. Sadikov minus 450 versus Mota plus 350. Big price here on Sadikov. I don't agree. First value price with Mota here, plus 350, even though I'm not going to back him here. I do believe Sadikov is the rightful favorite, but I have him at like a 3-1 favorite. Maybe minus 250. Obviously, he's fighting at home. Love the training camp. Love the camp he fights with, obviously, Marab, Sterling. He'll have a wrestling advantage here. Will he lean on the wrestling and grappling here? That'll be interesting, or is he going to try to make it a fun fight? If it's a fun fight on the feet, Mota's alive. Even though Mota, does have some issues with his chin. 4 knockouts, TKOs on his resume. So, yeah, Sadikov could catch him, but I believe his path is just to wrestle. That camp is smart. They do a lot of wrestling with Sterling and Mirab. They know how to win this fight. Get the fight down to the ground against Mota. Make an MMA fight. That's how they win this fight, clearly. If it's going to be on the feet, anything could happen on the feet, right? Mota's won back-to-back fights over very low-level guys, but he does have some confidence coming into this fight. Keep that in mind, guys. Confidence is there. Hate the price here on Sadikov. I do believe he gets the win, though. If you want to improve it, maybe take a shot on the finish on Sadikov. It should be a decent fight. I'll be cheering for the hometown favorite. Again, if it goes to decision for some reason, Sadikov's going to get favored by the judges. So keep that in mind. That will do it, guys. Kind of ran through it this week. Looking forward to UFC card next week. This is a decent card. A couple of top-heavy fights that I'm really looking forward to. Again, remember the early start time for this one. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy this card in Baku.